But my
Так, всем привет. Это второй выпуск моего начинающего проекта. Сегодня мы будем вещать на английском языке и познакомимся с вами с человечком. I wanna also tell the history how they met. That was really shock story. We went with my friend in one grocery shop and we heard the music like Dua Lipa and we start to dance. Yeah, and Ari look at us like, girl, you are so funny.
Yeah.
So, and after I add Tinder and I met him there. And that the way how they met. And today we will talk about his history, how he started his solo travel. And first, what's your name, what's your age, where are you from, like a short history of your life.
Hello, my name is Adi. I'm 29. I was born in Romania.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I was little, I moved to USA. So most of my life I've lived in USA. It's funny, people ask me where I'm from, and sometimes I say I'm from USA. Sometimes I say I'm from Romania. And actually, when I go to Romania, I speak in Romanian because I still know the language, but I have an accent. And people say, "Oh, where are you from?" And when I'm in USA, people say, "Oh, where are you from?" So almost.
You never, like, in both countries you are
Yeah.
not
I lost my home. I don't know where I belong.
you're a world person.
Yeah. My dream is to be a global citizen. So
Okay, you are solo traveler, right? So the question is, are you save your money for travel, or you still work remotely, or how you earn money for that travel?
a very popular question. A lot of people ask me that actually because I've been traveling for almost 2 years. In USA, I had a pretty nice job, good pay, good salary, but I hated it. And I wanted to escape, but I did not know what I wanted to do in life. So I decided to start saving each month. And I reduced all my spending. So I saved. Right before I decided to travel, I also sold everything. My car, my furniture, everything. And I'm also an investor. So a lot of the money that I saved, a portion of it, I also put into the stock market. So as I travel, the money slowly grows. And when I'm ready, I take it out. So that's kind of what's funding. I do not work, and I do not plan to work for a while because I still don't know what I want to do. I don't want to do the same job I did before. So since August of 2022, I have not worked.
Have you been home that time? No?
I did go back once. Had some family health things that I because I don't work, I can help out. So I went to take care of some family things, and I stayed for a few months. And then after that, I traveled U.S. and Canada, and then went to a family trip to Romania, and then they went back to USA, and I got back into my travel in Asia. And so, just to speak about when we met, it especially stood out to me because when I travel, I get to see a lot of people, but everyone's in their travel mode, and it's so rare to see someone so positive, so happy, just especially dancing in the middle of a grocery store. So I thought that was very unique, and I'm glad that.
Dancing queen.
Yeah. So good energy.
So the motivation to start your travel was to find yourself, probably, after you hate your job. And what was the problem at the beginning to start? Have you some? Was you afraid to start, or just go?
Good question. The biggest reason for my travel is to search something inside me, and I think I did not know how to find that, and the addition of hating my job, that forced me to make a big decision. It was scary in the beginning because I did not know that travel was the solution, or I didn't know what I wanted to do. And in USA, people, it's almost like you live to work. In other places, you work to live, but in USA, you live to work. Meaning everyone wants to work, move up the ladder, more money, more
In which
more
city
cars.
do you live?
Last place was Seattle.
Okay.
Seattle. It's in the northwest, close to Canada, and it's expensive. So you're kind of trapped in a cycle of working, and trying to move up. So for me to quit and travel long term, everyone said, no, don't do that. I worked for a Fortune 500 company, which is a big company, one of those big companies. And usually when you work for such good companies, you want to stay in those kind of companies. I basically achieved the American dream, and everyone was saying, why are you giving it up? My parents moved across the planet from Romania to USA for us to have a good future. I achieved that future, and yet they said, why? No, don't do that. Don't quit. Don't leave. Everyone around me was saying, don't do it. I thought after I travel, I have to come back. Will I be able to find a job? Will I have
Many questions.
Many questions. Like I told you, COVID just made me realize life could be so short, so fragile. What's the point of living? What do I live for? And I decided there's something better than this. And so that gave me the courage. I saved. That gave me also courage because I had a little bit of savings. And then I watched YouTube and read about other travelers and all their stories. And I said, okay, let me try it a little bit. And
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. Just.
Now it's 2 years later, and I'm super happy. I meet a lot of travelers and see a lot of travelers, and everyone's smiling, happy. We're walking outside in paradise. I have no regrets. It is hard at first, but like I said, nothing easy in life is good. Nothing good in life is easy, and I think this was a hard decision, but worth it.
Okay, you said that before you save money for some time. How long you save your money? How you think? How much? I mean, of course, it depends how long they want to travel, but like a minimum that you can start.
I don't know exactly how long I saved, because in USA we also have student loans. So I had to first get rid of that, because with that I had to pay every month whether I have a job or no. I had to pay all that first to escape. So I saved for that. Then once I paid that off, I started saving for travel. My initial plan was to travel for enough to have for 1 year. 1 year of travel. And the way I read a lot of blogs, I watched a lot of YouTube, and I got for Asia, because I want to start in Asia because that's safer, cheaper, and more well-trafficked by tourists, backpackers. Based on what I read, I got the idea of $50 per day is kind of like a nice budget to have. Some countries you use less, some countries you use more. But average, they said $50 is good. From my experience, I never used that much money. But saving enough for $50 a day gave me a comfort. Made me, I have enough just in case of emergency or things get expensive. I have enough. And luckily, the less I use per day, the more I travel. But my only advice I would say is, however long you want to travel is important, but that could change, because once you are here traveling, you could decide to travel less or more, or there's so many things could change when you're here. But the $50 per day, I think, is a good number to have in Asia. You can still be comfortable, you can eat, drink, have a nice place to stay. But again, most of the countries have not even half. Some countries are more expensive, but most of them are very cheap. So
1,500 per month. About.
Yes.
Okay.
And that includes housing, transportation,
Everything.
food, everything you could possibly imagine.
It's about a life usually in hostel or some cheap places, right?
Mostly hostels, but I'm picky. Don't want to stay in the cheapest hostel. I look at reviews.
I choose fancy hostels.
Yeah, so I choose something that's like affordable.
Very, очень affordable.
That's good rating, good people, good vibe, good environment. So because you're gonna be in that environment and I'm paying for it. If I pay just $1 or $2 more extra, but I get way better quality, then I choose that. But a lot of times in some countries, it's cheaper to have a private room than a hostel.
Vietnam.
Vietnam, Nepal, in some parts of India when I went. Even here in Sri Lanka, there's times, actually, I've been here a week and a half. The first week I stayed in private homes because they were cheaper than hostels.
How do you think it's what's the best way to save money and travel, have a freedom, or work and travel? Or it's different and you should try both to understand what you want.
I've not worked and traveled, so I don't know, but I'm jealous of people who get to travel and work, yeah. Because they get to stay in a place longer, they have more money, they can splurge, they don't have to always think about, oh, how much did I spend today, how much can I spend? But I'm saying that because I've experienced the other side. So sometimes in life you kind of have one thing and then you want the other thing. And once you get that thing, you want that thing.
You want stay in one place for a long time, I want to move.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I do like the freedom that I have. But the cool thing is, there's so many other things you could do to help you with your travel. There's volunteering, where you can stay a few weeks, a month in a place for free. And you work a few hours a day, whatever it's, whether it's a language, culture exchange, a hostel, a bar, I don't know. My advice to you would be try at first to travel without a job, without anything. Because you do so much exploration inside when you have so much freedom. When you have a job, now you're starting to get distracted and you don't get to experience fully the place because sometimes you have to spend a few hours behind the computer or whatever job you have instead of, I don't know, sitting on the beach or like reading or like yoga or whatever it is. So I would start kind of how I started with just travel, see who you become, who you really are in that process, and then decide whether you want to continue that kind of travel or like me, I'm now thinking, oh, maybe I want to do something else with my time besides just travel.
After 2 years.
Yeah.
Pretty enough.
Yeah. Even this, after a while, it's you want to change something else.
You always see someone and you're like, oh, you are more happy than me. I mean, it's just human problem. Yeah. Most important is just start. I mean, you never know how it's gonna be, how it's will going. So you just start and let's see. You have some steps. Like firstly, I will go there, or where how you choose your first country, and why you choose that country.
So I wanted to start in Asia because it's safer and cheaper. But once I was in Asia, once I decided the continent of Asia, I didn't have a country specifically to start. I knew I have two countries that I dreamed of going, Japan and Nepal. Those are my two must. If I'm in Asia, I have to see these two countries. And I got to finally see those two countries. But the way I organize my country and how I decide is two-way. One, I don't plan what I do in each country. It's more when is the best time to go in that country. I don't want to go to a country and it's raining every day. And then I can't do anything. So for Japan, I thought I want to see the cherry blossom season. And that's...
It was May, April.
So I went March, April, May for 3 months. And it happens differently throughout the country. You can move with it, but it was around the March, April time frame, if I remember correctly. And then Nepal, I didn't mind the cold, but I wanted clear skies. Some of the most beautiful mountains on the planet are in Nepal, and I wanted to be able to see them, not be cloudy. So October, November, and December are the months. So knowing those two countries and those times, I fit all the other countries in between, also based on climate. And that's how I decide which country to go. What also helps me is I use Google Flights. There's a option. Yeah. So then I decide, okay, so these are the countries. When should I go to these countries based on? So this month I need to be in, let's say, Cambodia or Vietnam. But I look at Google Flights to see which day I should fly. So sometimes I stay a month and a half in a place. Sometimes I stay 2 months. Sometimes a month. Just because I'm waiting for the cheapest flight to go, and it's closer. I don't go from one continent to the other one. I don't cross the whole continent. I try to stick, and that's the cool thing about travel is now you don't have a schedule, responsibilities like that. So you're completely free to do when, where, however you want.
2 years you are free. Was it maybe one day boring to be free? I mean, or you tired about being free? No?
I don't think I could get tired of this freedom, and I don't think anyone will. But it's not perfect because I think you could get used to this lifestyle, and it's not realistic to do this forever. Imagine at some point you have to return back to normal life whenever that is, and if you get used to having all this freedom and you go in a routine where it's like, oh, you have to 9 to 5, you have to live for the weekend, you know, like these kind of things, if you get used to this freedom and too much freedom, it could be hard to adjust. And that's my actually fear. It's I don't want to give up this freedom. I enjoy this freedom, but I worry that maybe I've had too much freedom and I enjoy it too much, and maybe I could never have a normal life, but it might not be, it might be hard at first to adjust back to normal life. I don't want to give it up yet, and that's why I was saying like maybe a good hybrid, a good solution to this is to find something to do besides just travel, like maybe a job or volunteer, or maybe like something else. Like I sometimes in some countries I learn like scuba diving or like other activities, which helps, and that limits a little bit of the freedom, but still it's free because I can do when I want, how I want. But yeah, I would not give this up yet. I am always conscious that maybe too much of this good is not good. I don't know, we'll see. Actually, one funny thing is, since I've been traveling for so long, I don't know if it's a weekend or weekday.
Really?
I don't know.
Count?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I don't know if it's Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday.
now I also don't know because of holidays.
So you know.
No, I know.
Yeah, no, never. I always, what day is it? I never know.
What's the year now? The good question. The first question should start.
Luckily, we celebrated New Year's not too long ago, so I know, but soon I'll forget.
Okay. Do you feel by your solo travel, like alone, you okay with that? Maybe you was pretty lot of time alone before in your country, or it's a new experience to be alone in new countries, and how you feel it?
That's a good question. Before I traveled, I was always surrounded by people. I had friends. I always tried to not be alone. I was actually afraid to be alone.
Okay.
You know, not afraid, but like I felt uncomfortable to be alone. And luckily I had friends and always figured out something to do. At work I had friends, so I was never alone. Like I was always with people. When I started traveling, everything changed. I was right away from the start alone. But like second day, I stayed in a hostel and people started showing up, and then without trying, I was surrounded by people again. And I've realized that happened everywhere I went. I was never, even if I wanted to be alone, I couldn't be alone.
We have the same in our first podcast. They tell the same.
Ну, заметила здесь, что когда я хочу остаться одна, я никогда здесь не могу остаться одна.
Yeah, it's if you're worried about being alone, don't, because it's just impossible to be alone. However, since I've started traveling, there are moments when I did travel, like in a bus, you're alone. In a ferry, you're alone. In a plane, you're alone. Sometimes you get to a hostel and maybe you arrive at night, you're alone. There's many times when you can be alone, and you start, at least for me, I started enjoying that and being more comfortable with being alone, because again, I didn't like being alone, and now I am alone. I can be alone. And there's times now where I'm in a hostel, I meet people and they're like, come, let's do this, let's do that. I'm like, actually, let me do this and I'll join you guys later, or, you know. So there's times where now I enjoy being alone and comfortable being alone, and now I can choose. But the one thing, I don't know if the other person said it, but after traveling for so long, you notice the same thing happens over and over. You have the same conversations. Where you're from, what you do, blah, 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 where you've been, where you're going.
Basic.
Yeah, simple, basic, superficial questions. And rarely do you have a connection with someone that's deeper. But you do meet those. However, the sad part is you start believing, this could be a really good friend or a partner or whatever. But then the sad part is everyone leaves. Everyone goes their separate ways after a few days, few weeks. That makes me sometimes think of loneliness, because you're always surrounded by people and you technically are not alone, but the connections you have are not as deep, especially for traveling for so long. And for me, that's one thing I want to change maybe a little bit of my travel, is maybe figure out a way to meet people and travel with them longer and have that stronger of a connection, or maybe meet someone and, it's kind of a couple travel kind of thing.
Like I had that experience, so then I moved from my hometown, like from his friends, for a long time. That was twice, for like 5-6 months. And always you come back to your home and your conversation with your friends start to be a little bit different. Of course, some friends from childhood, you always the same, like it's not necessary, you don't see each other, you always a good connection, but some friends just skip like this. And yeah, you also met new people, and sometimes it's so sad to say bye to them because you have a different ways. Then I start my this solo trip after I start work remotely. I went in Istanbul in Turkey, and I met two girls. I met more, but these two girls, we continue travel together in Asia last year. Yeah, travel 2 months. It's really nice to meet and continue that person. Like you met, go and met again and go like this. It's really nice. And I had a question about your friends in your home. Like you, after 2 years, still a good friend. You have a maybe video call or chatting each other, or you don't have a friends anymore.
First of all, I'm a guy, so guys tend to not. Well, maybe I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't video call my guy friends, and actually I haven't called many of my friends. But we do talk. We keep in touch through, Instagram, text messages. I did go back once to take care of some family stuff, and I noticed then a difference in how I've changed and how they've changed. But I think it's more because we experience so much here that you change so much. And the conversations were so different. I didn't lose the friends, but I feel like incredible people while traveling that I've now have stronger connection. But again, we're separate continents, and it's hard. It's hard because you change as you travel, and the people there stay the same. I even visually look different. Like I have long hair now. I used to have short hair. I would wear a suit now, and
Who are you?
yeah, and no one recognizes me anymore. And the way I talk, the way I think. So you change. But there are some friends that I'm still close with, in touch, and even with this change. But it does become harder and harder to connect because a lot of the friendships are built around what you experience together in person, and if less and less and less, it's harder to. You almost always talk about oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? But it's getting further and further away. My biggest fear actually is that I'm getting used to this traveler mindset of people, and everyone that's traveled I've met are very curious people, very adventurous, positive. And I feel like if I go back to living a normal life, everyone's going to be different. I'm going to have a hard time connecting, whether it's making new friends or even old friends. So I don't know, but it's hard to say. I think I am happy the way it is, but at the same time, it's not perfect. I think there will be some challenges whenever I decide to settle.
How I think, is it dangerous to travel alone? You do something to make your trip more safe?
I think it's perfectly fine to travel alone, solo. I've met a lot of solo female travelers in many different countries, and they all say the same thing. Obviously, genders, there are some differences. For example, a girl traveling solo in India, there may be other things you need to think about. And, I've met some solo travelers, girls in India, and they said they kind of had to grow eyes in the back of their head, always as in you always have to be on guard and watch out. They had good experience and they loved India, but they said that it's almost like you have to always be attentive to your surroundings. I didn't have that experience, and it's unfair, but yeah, I didn't feel unsafe being alone. I also like to get lost because I get to see things that are not only touristy, and sometimes I end up in kind of weird dangerous looking places, but even there I felt okay, this is interesting, but no one attacked me, no one tried to steal, no one tried to scam. I even in dangerous situations, I
believe the universe that will give me everything good.
And I think it's you shouldn't be afraid of traveling alone. And again, I told you, like, most of the times, even when you're alone, you can meet people at the hostel and then you together go sightseeing if you feel unsafe. But I don't think it's a problem to be solo travel. And for girls, sadly, it's a little bit different, but not that much different from the people I've met who are solo female travelers. They said, yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. And it's actually nicer because you're more free to do whatever you want when you want. With a group of people, then your freedom diminishes a little bit, because if there's 5 people and they all want to do different, maybe you're the guy who doesn't get to do what you wanted because everyone else voted on this one thing. So there's, what I did to be safe is I don't carry too much with me, valuables. I pretend like if the worst could happen on that day, like let's say my wallet gets stolen, my phone gets stolen, they can only steal so much. I have everything else locked up in the locker at the hostel or a hotel room, most valuable things, and that diminishes the risk. Do pay attention, and as you travel more, you'll start noticing people, how, they're looking at me or they're following me or something. That doesn't happen, but you're more attentive to your surroundings because you're not as distracted. But yeah, I don't do anything special to keep safe because it's very, very safe here, especially in Asia. And it's so many travelers. They survive on tourism, so they make sure that it's a pretty good environment so people could keep coming so they can spend their money. Yeah, there's military walking everywhere here in Sri Lanka to guard you. If you're a tourist, they'll give you the seat in a bus, or if you're trying to go to a hospital and there's a line and they see you're a tourist, they'll let you cut in front, which is not fair, but they've done that in places. So you're treated almost as a traveler differently in some places.
I also think that some dangerous can help in your hometown also.
When I went back to USA, I literally had a feeling, wow, this is so dangerous. I got out of the car, got off the plane. The people at the airport were rude and guns, and everyone's driving like crazy, and these massive trucks are driving you past you at high speeds. I'm like, oh my god! And then you hear on the news about mass shootings, almost every day. There's one happening somewhere.
I want to go back.
Yeah, I was watching. There was news in California that people were breaking into stores or cars, and the police next to the police, and the police wouldn't do anything because the laws were I was like, whoa, what is going on? I felt more unsafe.
Probably one of the last. What's your future plan? Would you like to continue your solo travel, or would you like to go home? How long you wanna travel?
My birthday came, I kind of realized maybe I should change a few things, and so I've traveled for 2 years. I think next September, so it's January now, next September I've decided that maybe I should take a break from traveling and live a normal life. I think my goal was to get out of my comfort zone and try to grow and escape a job, and also but to grow as a person, figure out who and the uncomfortable zone for me was to do this, but now this uncomfortable zone became the comfort zone. For me, uncomfortable zone is living a normal life, having a normal group of friends, a routine, a bed, that kind of stuff. So I kind of miss that and crave that. So I've decided that maybe I'll take a break from travel or stop the traveling for now. But I will not return to USA. I will not return home. I have actually decided to relocate to Europe. I have 2 passports, so I'm pretty lucky, and I feel like I would love to live in a place where it's in US I could drive 8 hours and still be in the same state. While in Europe, if I choose, if I'm somewhere central, or I could drive the same amount, I could cross a country 2, maybe 3. I feel like I would love to live somewhere different than US. I can always go back to US, but somewhere where I can live, work, and continue that travel because everything's so accessible. Also, I mentioned earlier, life is so short. If you have access to living somewhere better than where you're currently living, why not? Why not live in that better place? I don't know if Europe will be better for me, but from the people I've talked to, some of my travels, and the possibility, the advantage of being able to also live there, I want to try it and see. And then maybe if I meet someone or a group of friends, maybe I could always go back to traveling again. But for now, I think my future plans after the next few months is to slowly start going back to kind of a home base.
Yeah.
But not US, somewhere
There's your
else.
home.
Yeah, a home, a place to call home, yeah.
Can you give some advice to people who want to start but afraid, or who want to live the life we live, maybe? Any motivation?
Well, first of all, I'm sure whether through this video or other videos, you will realize that everyone that talks about this doesn't regret it. So it's scary, but you will not regret it. So that should first be the reminder, always in the back of your mind, no matter how scary or how hard it could be, no matter what you might think of after, what you do after the traveling, if it's for a long period. Those are all just noise trying to get you into the comfort zone. The person you will become will be much happier, much healthier. You will grow more as a person mentally too. Your tolerance for things, your patience will grow. You'll have so much more time for yourself. Back home, you have a job, you have friends, family, you watch TV. You rarely have time alone, but here you get to do that and you get to explore a lot about yourself. Remind yourself that this is an amazing opportunity. Second would be budget, even for 3 months. Just try it for 3 months. And I told you, $50 a day is like more than enough. If you could do that, that will help you, and then that could get you started to see if you like it or not. It's not the end of the world if you, after 3 months, you know what, it's nice, but I don't want to do this. For me, there was a lot of people who said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You know deep down what's right for you. It's nice, it's comforting to hear from others, but really listen to yourself. Trust yourself. Yeah, like if you want to have a epic life, I think you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to do something, and you can't do what everyone tells you what to do. If you want to have memories and things like that, you have to take some hard steps sometimes. There will always be jobs. Most people have 50 years, 40 years of jobs. What's a few months? What's a year? What's 2 years? Break in between that. It's nothing. You will find a job no matter what. Like, it's not just because you're worried about like quitting and I won't get another job. It's almost impossible not to get another job. Yeah.
So guys, I think you should stop watching that video and go start your first trip and do that memories in your life. Thank you for watching. See you on the road. Exactly. So, thank you, bye.